Hey guys, how's it going? We're in the hospital at Lake Havasu, but I thought we might do some practice exam questions while my mom is having surgery. How's everybody doing? How's your week going? How's the medical coding book prep going? Hope everybody's doing real well. It's kind of loud here, but we are in a private room, but we have a patient who's hard of hearing, so all the staff is having to scream so the patient can hear them. So it is kind of loud here, but hopefully not too bad. How's everybody doing? We can do some practice exam questions with medical coding. Anybody know anything about medical coding nerves and using microsurgery when you use a microscope? Knowing when to use the add-on codes or additional codes for microscope is one skill you need to know for sure. Our 69990 is an add-on code, so it normally cannot be the only code used in a practice exam question as far as the answer goes. So that looks like a coding irregularity to me. So I'm going to just strike through that answer because I know that one can't be correct. We might need to add it, but we won't know until we go look at our 64864 code. Sorry. Be sure to ask if you got any questions. So if we go to 64864, you're going to run into these codes right there in your book, and you need to know if you are supposed to utilize the 6990 add-on code to go with these. Ooh. Thanks for sharing the live. What do you guys think the answer is? You can type it in chat. Hey Twinkle, good to see you. We're just doing some practice questions with PocketPrep. Hey Juanita, good to see you. If you see that 69990 is your only available answer, you know that can't be the correct answer when you're dealing with a facial nerve with microsurgery, because that code cannot be coded all by itself because it's an add-on code. It has that plus symbol in front of it. So we know we could strike through that one particular answer. But we do need to know if we can add 64864 and 69990 together to answer this question. What do you guys think the answer is for this one? And depending on what the answer is, we can make notes in our book. I'll show y'all around my mom's room real quick. She's not in here right now. Her tables and chair and everything else is, you know, her bed is gone, but because she's doing her surgery right now. But when she gets back, she'll be right here beside me. So, in your notes for this chapter, I've gone through in my notes for 2024, as soon as I finish them, I've gone through and I've added a blue dot beside any of the nervous system codes that if you do use microsurgery, you can add that code. So you would know if you're supposed to add it. Because a lot of them you don't. So in my notes, if there's no blue star, then you don't add it. But if there is a blue little circle thingy here, then you know you need to add it. And if we look at our answers, we've got our 64864, and it says we're supposed to use it according to my notes. Woo, let's see if I'm correct. Sorry, I gotta let go of this phone for a minute while I try to figure out how to click on the mouse here. All right, let's see. Yep, I am correct. Woohoo! That's good. These are, I brought up all the questions in PocketPrep that I have not done yet. So I haven't even seen this one yet. I got this information and went through my chart and did all these from my encoder at work. I found a small description inside encoder that let me know which codes I could use with 69990 out of the entire book, and then I went through it and added that. So that's going to be super helpful for the update for 2024 nervous notes. All right, let's do our next question. Oops, sorry, I hit the tap on the screen. It's too quick for me. All right. Next one is cataracts. Oh boy. Cataracts are terrible. They're hard to do. Thank you. Thank you about good thoughts about my mom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for tapping the screen. I see all the lovely hearts. Okay. I gotta put my book down because I can't hold this phone and the book and the laptop all at the same time. Just not working for me. All right, and get all these answers up. So the first thing you need to figure out here is, are you extra or not? And we do see that we do have extra up here. So some of these answers are not extra. So be sure and eliminate some of those right away. Then you should get yourself down to just a 50-50 shot. Then you can see what that differences are in the last two answers available. This one does have the iris expansion device, which is the one difference between two of these codes. So what do you guys think is the answer? Can you find that particular wording inside one of the CPT code descriptors? Let me know in chat what you think the answer is. Thanks for the follow, Samantha. Already got 1,000 hearts. Y'all are great. Thank you. It's Oh, it's good to see you, Oh gosh, I miss y'all so much. All right, let's see if she's correct. She's usually always correct since I can't look at my book. Yes, she is. Good job. There's our rationale. Good job. I did get word from PocketPrep. They're going to update the codes and start using the 2024 book, I think around April 1st. All right, let's see what's going on. Oops, I hit it again. Sorry. The touchscreen is too sensitive on this tablet. All right. What have we got going on here? The 4 2s are the same, and they just want to know if we can add the radiology to it or not, probably. So we just need to look at the descriptor here and see if it already includes ultrasound. If it doesn't, then we need to go add that code. But also verify that this is a laparoscopic ablation in the renal area. Are we under the header of laparoscopic? Just to make sure, but what do you guys think the answer is? I literally took this class for 9 months, and all I learned was and so, because my teacher had no transition words. Aww. Well, I hope I can help you. I teach from the certification exam point of view, whether you're taking AHIMA or AAPC. I just teach from their certification exams point of view, teach you how to make notes in your CPT book, and teach you how to tackle these practice questions. First thing you do is look at the answers first. Do not read the questions. A lot of times you don't even need to read the questions. You can just go straight to the answers and figure out what the answer is based off these, because you can find coding irregularities, things that shouldn't be together. But what I would do is look for similarities in this one. So we've got A and B are both very similar. The only difference is, do we add radiology to it or not? So I would go to that code and see if it already includes ultrasound. If it does, then you know your answer's A. Do have to make sure that you're under the right header, but I have to take the test in the next 5 months. Awesome. I hope I can help you out. Twinkle is sitting there at work tapping on the screen. I know she is, right? A is correct. Good job. There's your rationale. All right, our next one is that we're doing a hemipharyngeal femur bilateral. My mom is having a femur repair today too. It's kind of interesting. All right, we got an infant with knocking knees. All right, so we don't have to worry about the modifier because it's the same modifier on every single answer. I would look for similarities. The 75 and 77 are super close numerically to each other. I'd start out with those two codes, see what that difference is, and see if I can find that difference in these question by doing just a word search through the question and try not to read it. What do you guys think the answer is for this one? It's probably a difference between a genetic disorder or whether it's diagnostic or therapeutic, something like that.
The subject's body language led officers to believe that there was nothing illegal going on. I don't think she was nervous at all.
good to see you, It's. And Twinkle. Thanks for hanging out with me while my mom has surgery.
Following their tip-off, their search for the white truck with aided cartel cash continues.
What do you guys think the answer is? I can't look at my book at the same time while I'm holding this camera, but what do you guys think? T, good to see you too. All right, let's see if 77 is correct. Ah, it tricked us. It was 85, so it must have been a different header. And usually the genetic stuff is one of the last or highest numerical numbers, because we'll start off doing a diagnostic, then we'll do therapeutic, then we'll do radical, and then we'll do the genetic stuff there. Sorry, I swallowed wrong. For no reason. Okay, let's look at our explanation. You're looking for that keyword. It said that the 75 was for epi instead of hemi. Also 77 was epi and not hemi, and 70 was an arrest procedure. All right, this one, I would again do the similarities. Even though it didn't work out the last time, most of the time, I would again do the similarities. Even though it didn't work out the last time, most of the time it does. The 60 and the 90 are the closest together. Don't worry about the 26. It's the same for everything. I would see what my differences are in the 60 and 90. Verify you're under the right header, because if you're not, if you didn't do whatever the header is for this, it'll be in blue or red font before those codes. And if I'm not under the right header, then I do probably need to go to that one. But we did it during a puncture. Oops, what'd she say? Let's see. No worry about being late. I just kind of jumped on here with no time. Let's see. She said something about the reason for the visit. Can it be an external cause code? It can be if it is a Chapter 19 external cause in the ICD-10 book. It cannot be an external cause code from Chapter 20 in the ICD-10 book. I hope that's helpful. You test tomorrow, your second attempt. Oh, best of luck, best of luck. Somebody emailed me yesterday or today and told me that the replay video of a book prep for lab and path that I just recently posted that went over some PocketPrep questions too had a lot of questions on it from her exam that she took the other day. I'm like, really? PocketPrep has some of the real questions from the exam. So I told her that was cool and interesting. So it's one of the very recent ones that I just did. So if you're a YouTube member on my YouTube channel, you get access to the replays of my old TikTok videos. And I have some new replays of TikTok labeled as Lab and Path Book Prep. And one of those, I went over and did some PocketPrep questions, and she said those questions were on her exam. Well, I'm like, great. Hey, Empress, thanks for the follow. Thanks for sharing. Deja, you're welcome. Yes, I know. I'm going to have to go back and look at those questions, too, that were on there. What do you guys think is the answer to this one? If you're nervous about headers of the CPT codes, you only have 2 different radiology codes. So sometimes radiology is easier to decide which is which. So you could go look up your differences between your 09 and your 98 radiology and then see which one is. You could at least get it down to a 50-50 shot, because if you're not an 09, then you know you're a 98. So you're just be looking for your shuntogram. So which one of these is the shuntogram? And that would get you to a 50-50 shot. You're welcome. I'm so glad I can help out and be useful. Hey, Dickinson, Miss Love, good to see you. Thanks for the follow. I hope I can help you out. Anybody want to take a guess at the answer? Sorry, I just can't hold the book. I got the books here. Oops. But I'm having trouble holding all this stuff and doing it, or we would go look up the codes or with each other. But I'm doing what I can while we're here at the hospital, having some fun, being distracted. I'm in my first month of coding classes. Oh, awesome. Well, I'm Medical Coding by Jen is my name. It's up there in the top corner. But I also have a website. It's Medical Coding by Jen too. And if you log on to my website, I've got a free practice area that you can go in and practice exam questions. There's also a CPT book prep page and ICD-10 book prep page. It'll show you how to book prep your book like I do and give you step-by-step guide on how to do all that I do, because I prep the CPT book and the ICD-10 and the HitPix book from the exam point of view. I have everything written out or highlighted or underlined or color-coded that I need for the exam. But my strategy for this question would be to look at the 2 radiology codes quickly, see which 2 codes were the shuntograms. That would eliminate 2 answers really, really quickly, and then I could be at a 50-50 shot. Then I could see what my differences are in those 2 CPT codes, and then only skim the question for those differences. Never ever read the question from beginning to end. You're just slowing yourself down. You'll never have enough time because you only have 120 seconds per exam question to find the answer. And you've got to go through all these pages in these books to look for all those codes. You don't have time to first read that question too. Plus it's full of propaganda that will lead you to the incorrect answer. The only thing you need to do is look at the differences between these answers to figure out which ones are correct. Did anybody take a guess? You take your test in 2 weeks. You're so happy I popped up. Oh, that's awesome. You should see my YouTube videos. I have so much information on YouTube. It's crazy insane. So many practice exam questions. I do workshops on Sundays once a month, and those days I do 75 questions in 3 hours, just like if I was taking a real exam with you guys in the same pace as the exam. That's a really good video. I got lots of those up that just make a huge difference, because you could follow along and try to keep up and try to get to all the codes in the books as fast as I do, so that you know you're ready and prepared for your exam. You got to have muscle memory just to even turn the pages and find the codes. Got to be able to move fast. Where can you learn? So you can go to my website. Let me see. Let's see. I don't know how fast this internet is here. No, not my. There I am. I'm not good at using anything without a mouse. Okay. There's my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. This is what it all looks like. If you want to do PocketPrep, these questions that I have that I'm doing right now, it's $14 to have access to 750 questions from the CPC AAPC exam. You just click that link right there that's on my page, and it'll take you to PocketPrep, and they give you the rationale and answers and all that kind of stuff. But you can do PocketPrep on your phone and have access to 750 questions. It's crazy. If you do 3 months access for $34, then if you don't pass when you take your exam, they'll give you another 3 months for free. But they have a pass guarantee. But anyway, back to my site. If you go to my site and you log on, let me get this up here a little bit better. Up here, of course, under the social media tab will be all the links to our Discord free study group, where we've got even more practice exam questions, the YouTube channel, Pinterest, all that stuff is right there under social media. Under resources, if you click there, you can go to the CPT book prep page or the book prep video page, either one. I only have 3 videos here, CPT book prep page or the book prep video page, either one. I only have 3 videos here of how to book prep your book for digestion. The rest are on YouTube for YouTube members. And then if you go to the CPT book prep page, those are still photographs of the CPT book, one step at a time. Go to the book, do this step. Go to the book and do this step. Go to the book and do that step. Just click on each picture. You'll get the instructions. It'll tell you what to do. And then there's how you do the anatomy. Click on the picture. It'll give you the instructions. And then this is how I do ICD-10. Just click on the picture. It'll tell you what to do. And then I have some extra bonus info here for you too. Let's see. Other resources, under the FAQs, my favorite page there is, that's free for you guys, is my free resources links right there. This is full of information and free, really good educational stuff. I've already went through, looked at it, found it to be perfect and great to help you out. So any links right here are great. There's also additional educators if you're looking for more people that teach, and they're underneath the additional teachers tab right there too. The blog has everything from how do you code spinal injections or eyes, to how do I find a job and a list of people that are hiring. all throughout all these blogs. So there's not too many blogs, but they're all very good blogs if they're posted. The practice area right there is what I was just telling you about the practice exam area. And I got to log on to do that, and I'm not doing that. But there's practice exam questions there that are super helpful. And there's 3 flashcards there too, sets that you can play with also when you get done with all the other practice exam questions. And I'm always updating this area, so be sure and check back often because it changes every day. Of course, in the shop, if you do want to purchase my notes where you just copy them page by page of whatever I've done, they're available here. The CPTs are on the first line, then the old workshops, and then the ICD-10s are here, or there's a whole list of everything. But it's just totally up to you whether you want to copy them page by page, you can. And then the shared gallery, that's super cool too if you log on to it, because it's a full list of all the my favorite photos, and they're free. That's just Cigna Healthcare calling me. Okay. But the shared gallery is is a really good resource too, because it's all free. It's just my favorite photographs, like what do I use to carry the books around in? What pens do I use to make notes with? How do I get rid of my apprenticeship? How do I get an extra hour to take 5 hours to take the exam? All those are all listed in underneath the shared gallery, but all that is free for you guys. My notes are the only thing that I charge for. I do like to teach 4 days a week for free, 2 hours each night after work. I do still have a full-time job and a mom and 3 sons to take care of, but I still love to teach. So I'm here for you if I can help you out. But there's lots of resources there on my website. Go check it out. You take yours in 8 days. You're nervous. You're going to do great. You're going to pass. You're wonderful. Don't let the nerves get ahead of you. You answer everything that I throw at you correct. You're going to do great. Medical Coding by Jen, like Jennifer, Jen, JEN.com. medicalcodingbyjen.com. The links are in the link tree too up here on the top of TikTok. If you click on my little logo up there, you're very welcome. Yeah, you can take the CPC in 5 hours. Yep. You have to have a written prescription from a physician or something. They can just handwrite it out that says that you meet the criteria for an ADA. Please allow for extra time. So if you have irritable bowel syndrome, I have a copy of that underneath the shared gallery on my website, what the doctor wrote. I mean, he doesn't have to share any medical information because it's all HIPAA anyway. But one lady said, no, I want you to share it. You tell them. And she did. So I put her letter up that the doctor typed out, but you don't even have to get that fancy. If you get a prescription from a doctor that says, please allow for this patient to have an extra hour, signs it, then you just upload that to the AAPC website and they will give you an extra hour to take the exam. Just be sure when you schedule that exam that exam is scheduled for 5 hours and not 4, because they're not all the same. And that approval is good for 1 whole year. And when you do get approved for an extra hour, no matter how many certificates you're sitting for, you do get it to take all of them for 5 hours instead of 4. So pretty cool. But you don't need it. If you learn how I do the exam, I did the CPMA exam, certification exam last month in 2 hours and 6 minutes. 100 questions, and it's all auditing. And there was 34 cases, charts that you had to read. I did it in 1 minute per question because I know how to not read the question and come straight to the answers and look for my coding irregularities, look for my similarities, and anything that I can't get rid of and I'm down to just 2 or 3 answers, then I go directly to the codes and see what differences there are and only search the question or the charts for those differences. I don't read none of that. You can do it too. Compliance, yep. I have been coding forever and new management wants us to get your CPC. Would you suggest a course first? No. The course AAPC does not, and I have a TikTok too. If you scroll through my TikToks, there is a video conference with the director of the educational department of AAPC. Their course is not designed to help you pass your certification exam. You have been coding for how many years? Forever. There's no way that is going to help you. Please do not take that course. Please don't spend $3,000. You do not need it. No, no, no. All you need is your CPT book, your ICD-10, and your hit picks. Go to my website, click on each little picture, and it tells you what to do to prep your book. Watch my videos and learn how I do the process of elimination, how I look for similarities, irregularities, and handle these questions from the exam point of view without reading the questions. I could be doing Russian here and not know what the subject matter is about and still be able to find the correct answer using this method. My oldest son, who has 2 degrees, taught me this.
Now that the woman has been processed, Officer Martinez calls the federal
20 years. Please do not take a course. Thank you, Twinkle. Sorry if I didn't answer your questions, please ask again.
maybe about to take a turn for the worse.
Yep. Dre, you've been in the trenches, girl. You got to throw out all your real life coding out of your head too. So if you start doing this exam from what you would code from your office's point of view, you're going to get the wrong answers too. So get rid of all that in your head. You can't do this exam from the payer point of view is what I mean. Because AAPC wants different answers than what payers want nowadays. How are y'all being affected with the data warehouse being shut down? What answer do you guys want to pick? We've got the 2 similarities. One's bigger, one's littler. Let's pick the littler one. No, it was up here. Different header. We had a different header. I wish I could hold the book up and we could do this easier. What was the 90? It was under... The 90 could be eliminated because it's not that. It was this one. They said it was because of the radiology was and the parenthetical, because there is a parenthetical underneath the 61070 that says if it's done via a shunt. Yeah, there we go. I just needed the book. All right, for the next one, if you're reading the question, you're doing it wrong. Don't read the question. We're going to look down here. We've got 2 of them that are in the 40s. These 2 are not. So I would go to those 2 differences in the CPT book, see what's going on there. We have 51 with 3 of the answers. What's that modifier? Is it something that's not applicable here? If it's something that we know we wouldn't use here, then you know your answer's D. That's easy. But if I wasn't going off the modifier process of elimination, then I'd go see what 41 is and 44 is. What's those two little differences between those codes, and only search those differences here. So we got a battery swap. So that's just a pulse generator replacement, because they call, in the CPT book, they call a battery a pulse generator. So knowing those AKA terms and getting them written out beside the proper codes is another thing that I teach you how to do in the book notes. And we learn that from these practice exam questions. So as you're doing them, when you're reading the CPT code descriptor and it's calling the battery replacement a pulse generator, that's where you'll go in beside that correct answer. Let me answer this. This is the hospital. Okay, guys, am I back? Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. Mom's out of surgery now. That was the surgeon. He just called me, and she did well. And she's going to be in post-op for another 30 minutes, and then they'll bring her up, okay? So we'll have a few more minutes here together. Dre is irritated. We're holding claims, but now we are printing. Oh no. And then what are you going to do? Mail them in? Oh my gosh. I don't know how some of the smaller groups are going to survive this. And what I'm seeing is United Healthcare and some of those other conglomerates are going in and buying up all the small doctor groups that can't make payroll because they're not getting any income. I think they're just like, it's like a big steal, you know? It's crazy. Although I don't think that the health insurance shouldn't own also your physicians. That just, oh my gosh. Anyway, if it was for me, I'd have everybody have free health care and free education, but that's just me, you know. Who am I? What do you guys think is the answer for this one? In a lot of the videos, you tell people go straight to the answer key. Why is that? Because the answer is right here. They write the questions, AAPC does. If you've looked at their, they have this thing that they have to produce to show exactly how they make their exams to get certified, right? If you read that, you see that they hire psychologists to help them write questions. They do that because they want to put misleading information in there and verbiage to confuse you during the exam. If you don't know 100% all the variables that go in to coding a patient's chart without payer influence by heart, if you try to read the question and then try to decipher the differences between those answers, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the screen, you will get the answer wrong 100% of the time, because they have misleading propaganda in those questions that they've paid someone to help them create. So the only way to pass this exam is to avoid the propaganda and the psychologist filling your head full of misleading information. You need to go straight to the answers. And a lot of times you can pick out incorrect answers, like, just for instance, if this was just one of the CPT codes in the book that has the plus symbol in front of it, that could not be the correct answer, because we know that code cannot be coded as a standalone answer. It can't be the only code for a procedure. Now, if they ask you what is the second code in this scenario, then of course that could be right, but it could never be the first or the only answer. And you can see right here they're asking what is the correct coding for this procedure. So if that had a plus symbol in front of it, you know that would be an incorrect answer, and you could help eliminate it. It's super easy to go through here and say, well, what if this was the answer? What would I see up here? What would be the answer if this was the answer? It's easier, and you don't get the propaganda. Promise, it's 100% easier. You could know absolutely nothing about medical coding, and you go and do the process like I show you how to do it. You can pass without knowing a thing about medical coding. This could be Greek, and you could pass it. When you go to the 30 and the 35 codes in the CPT book, it's over there, you're going to have a description, and it's going to tell you this one is intra and this one's extra, just for an example. And then that would be the only term you look for by skimming the question from the bottom up, looking for only those differences: intra, extra, arterial, venous, whatever you've prepped the book to look for as your one word difference between all the codes, which is something that I teach y'all how to do before your exam. Did you hear about Optum and UHC being investigated for a monopoly? They should be. They really should be. It's crazy how much they own doctors' offices now. They own all of the health insurance and the payment plans. It's crazy. They're owning medical groups, doctors, labs, hospitals now. It's bad. It's bad, bad, bad. All right. Where do you go to get help with membership fees on AAPC? My website. Remember, over here at medicalcodingbyjen.com, go to my website. Go to the resource tab. Go to the FAQs. When you get there, go to the best list of free resources. Click that, and your AAPC scholarship link is posted right there. It says, AAPC free scholarship application site right there. Oh gosh. I gotta text my mom's siblings real quick to let them know that she's out of surgery and it went well. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I also have some links to free resources from CMS. CMS has free certification classes on ICD-10, fraud and abuse charges, other things that you can do. It's unlimited exam attempts, and it also has a little tiny course that goes with each little thing. You can go to that link right there, and you can pad your resume with all their free certifications, and those certifications do change about quarterly, so they may take some out and put some in, but you can get certifications there. I have a copy of the fraud and abuse certification that I got from their free website underneath my on my website on, what is that, the shared gallery. That's a good resource too. The other thing is PocketPrep has a scholarship too. You can fill out that application there too for free. AAPC gives you a free 20 practice exam questions every month if you're an AAPC member, and define those free questions with the rationale and all that stuff, and it's unlimited exam attempts on those 20 questions a month. There's the link right there. Telling y'all, tons of free resources. All y'all got to do is go to medicalcodingbyjen.com. Tons and tons and tons of good stuff there. What's the best way to know sequencing? You technically don't need to know it a lot for the CPC exam, except for if a patient was overdosed, like with alcohol, if they did it to themselves, there's a certain sequence, whether the code for the symptom that it caused, the R code goes first, or if it is the external cause code goes first. If a doctor gives you a prescription and you overdose on it or something, but you took it correctly, then it flips where the symptom goes first, the R code goes first, and then the name of the drug, which is the external cause code. So knowing the sequencing of self-harm versus medical doctor doing it to you, those are something that you need to know. One thing that's helpful to know is that in the burn sequences or injury sequences, you know that S goes first, the S codes, and then you might have a W and then a Y code. Knowing that they go in that kind of order is sometimes helpful, but sequencing, I'm trying to think of any other sequencings. Just keep in mind what got them out the door and into the doctor's office today. Like if you have a patient who is OB and pregnant, has HIV, but she came to the doctor today for a wrist fracture, what are you going to code first? What got her out the door and into the doctor's office today? It's not her pregnancy. It was not her HIV. It was that fractured wrist. That goes first. Just think about it that way. The guidelines. Y'all, the guidelines. I have some videos on YouTube that are super helpful about how to memorize and how to learn your guidelines. I don't have the ICD-10 book with me, but what I did, and it's in my ICD-10 notes, is I started with ICD-10 number 1. When they're talking about the and or the or in your ICD-10 guidelines, I went and found a page number in the alphabetical index that lists a code that has the "and" in it. I highlighted it, wrote it on the page, on the guideline, the page number where I found it in the index. Just an example of one. But then I also went to the back of the book where that code is actually living, and I highlighted it there, marked that page number back over at the guideline page. Just writing it and finding examples inside the book multiple times for the same guideline was super helpful. And then all the practice exam questions that I have that are with those particular, let's see, let me go over here to resources and CPT book prep page. Because when I do ICD-10 book prep, if I have an example where there was a whole lot of stuff going on, CPTs and a ton of burns and external causes, you can see I wrote a little example about a 5-year-old who pulled a pot of hot water on themselves. We did those 2 CPT codes, but we also did those external causes. I also went to each code and wrote down a page number onto the page for every secondary code of where the original first code starts out, if that makes any sense. My very first ICD-10 code for this scenario is going to be my T22. My T20, I go to it and I circle it and put, there's an example on page whatever it is that T22 is on. I'll go to my X12, circle that code and put example on page whatever T22 is on. Just doing all this and seeing it multiple times and circling and putting page numbers down is daunting task, but you'll start to recognize patterns in guidelines. If you get an answer where an X code is before a T code, you'll see that that pattern looks different from anything you've ever written out as a possible answer or was an answer during your exam practice. So that's super helpful, is just multiple playing around with these examples. And this is how I circle the guideline. This guideline is how you sequence burns. You do your 3rd degree burns first, you do your 2nd degree burns first and second, and then your 3rd degree, your 1st degree burns are the last thing you're going to code. So I went to those ICD-10 codes and I wrote that guideline down to the codes and on those pages that it affects to remind me this is the order that we need to do. I also have guidelines that say that we do chemical burns before we do fire burns. So if I have a person that was chemically burned and fire burned all on the same day, they had a bad day. If their chemical burn was a 1 degree, but their fire burn was a 2 degree, I know to remind myself, because I've got it written in red on those pages, be sure and code the 1st degree for the chemical burn first, then we'll do the fire burn 2nd degree is my secondary code. But it's not going to do any good to leave that at the front of the book where the guidelines are located, because during the exam you'll never go up there. You don't have time. You have 120 seconds per exam question to pick out your correct answer. You don't have time to review and lounge about inside your guidelines. So writing it where you're going to be running from code to code is super important. I have notes available on my website if you want them. I keep them as cheap as I can, especially for the ICD-10 ones. And as you put things in the shopping cart, an automatic coupon will attach. I also have a loyalty program that you get hearts for every single item you purchase. And the next time you purchase something, you could possibly get things free because you'll have 20 hearts or something, and it takes $20 off your next purchase. So it's pretty cool. And if you do put anything on a firm, I pay all the fees for that, so you guys don't have to. But you don't have to purchase a thing from me. I am more than happy to teach you guys for free. I like to teach 4 nights a week normally for free. My life is just in chaos right now, as you can see. And I'm teaching when I can, as I can. So, but normally every week it's Monday through Thursday for 2 hours every night after I work a full-time job. But you don't have to purchase anything. I do like to show you how to do it all for free. You can learn how to make your own notes by clicking on these pictures right here, and it tells you exactly what to do, and then you can go do it in your book. And I'll show you what I've been working on while I was here at the hospital. I was working on these nervous notes for this 2024. They eventually will end up looking like this. I have all the totals coded, your one-word differences between those exams. So if your answer was A, B, C, and D, right? What you would do is go straight to the answers, and then you would know, am I doing a referral, a removal? Are we defining an area? Are we just doing some cutting of the nerves, or am I only removing the hemisphere? Those are the only differences. I'm going to look through that question by doing a backward search, one-word search through those questions. Super helpful. So I like to make little tidbits for you. So if you're ever going to do any skull-base surgery, how you code those is first you got to worry about your approach. Am I posterior, anterior, or middle? That's number one. Then you need to see if you're intra or extra, right? Because they say define the procedure, but they don't tell you how to define the procedure. Well, it's just looking for those 2 words, which I have highlighted for you: extra, 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 or intra, intra, intra. Super helpful. Or trans, 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 trans. And then the next step, the last step, is to see if you did it with any fixation or a graft. And then that'll help you go through these codes and see which ones we do. This is step 1. Are we middle, posterior, or anterior? Once you get that done, then you can figure out if you're intra or extra, right? Then you can figure out if you did the graft or not. So super helpful to work in my notes, but I can absolutely teach y'all how to do this and make these notes all by yourselves for sure. I like to define terms that you might not know, like subtemporal means it's below. That's easy, but you know, that kind of stuff. Knowing that extra is outside the dura, and then knowing that intra is inside the dura, stuff like that is super helpful. So, but you guys can start by making notes just like I do, by going through the step-by-step process where you underline if you've got a parenthetical that is important, like a modifier alert, which is super helpful, or if it's a do not, those are super helpful. Only highlight if there is a parentheses inside a CPT code descriptor of what's inside of it. Some of them don't have them, so don't highlight anything, only the ones that have that in it, because a lot of times it's what's there that's part of the exam question. It's usually inside there, especially something like this one where it's saying that it's the this with that, with this, with this. If it was that particular one, it would be there. Oops, oops, oops. Why will it end? No, I'm here. Oh, I got to do a puzzle. Got to do a puzzle piece. Okay, verify I am still here. It thinks I'm not a live person. Huh, like I could be a robot. But I've got E&M section done for you. I've got integumentary anesthesia. Gosh, muscles is so good this year. I really did a really good job on muscles. I have never done the one-word differences on muscles and made it super cool. I've done cardiology is already great. Those notes are perfect. Plus you get the Appendix L notes with those. I'm updating the nervous system only because I wanted to add that particular part about which codes can you use the the microscope one on. That's super helpful to know. So that's getting updated this year. And I think I'm going to do lab and path and medicine sections this year to update them, but it's going to take me forever. So I've already been working on this book since October. It just takes me a long time because, you know, I still have the full-time job and the boys and the kids and stuff like that. Don't be using whiteout in your book like I do. I do it for my own reasons. Y'all, you guys know you can't do that. But if somebody's taking their exam tomorrow or something, be sure you know this page. Be sure you know that page. What's the other page? This one right here. This one's super helpful for the exam. And what else do I have? What else was good? This one. The one that tells you the differences between these, right here, these definition pages. I'm in the 2024 book, but 478 in the nervous system, the differences between these procedures, sometimes you need those for the exam. There's something in the digestion system, that colonoscopy decision tree thing. I haven't done that section for this year because my last year notes are great for that. But there is a page somewhere in this section that's that decision tree that's on the exam. It really is on some version of the exam. Hopefully you can find it. I'm not sure which page that's on, because I don't have. There it is, that one right there. They're going to ask you something about here. Something about it doesn't reach the here, or it doesn't reach here. It's one of those two, and then it tells you what the answer is. So it's something right here, I think. Just make sure you're diagnostic or if you're therapeutic first, because they have the same thing on both sides. So that is on the exam. Don't forget about the acronyms that are on the back of the book. That one right there is usually on the exam. JVD. It's not back there, but I wrote it in. Sometimes it's on the exam. Be sure you know when they update. That's usually on the exam. Whether it's released or when it comes into effect is a big difference. So make sure they're asking you if it's a release date or an effective date before you pick one of those. But yeah, be sure you know where that calendar is too. And super helpful. Don't forget, you do have an alphabetical index in the back of your CPT book that if you have no idea about like a definition of what some body part is, even the back of the CPT book can be helpful for that, because you can look for stuff in alphabetical order. Because if the ICD-10 book isn't helpful, don't forget you've got this back here. So even if you're looking for an anatomy term, you can look here, because you can at least figure out and get to the code, and then you can figure out what body part you're dealing with based off the code, because they're all header based by body parts. So like no matter what section you're in, the reds are always the body parts. So then any codes that are underneath here are only dealing with the cervix, right? And then all the red codes doing here are only dealing with the uretry. So super helpful. Even if you don't know what's going on, you can utilize that. I've missed 32 messages. I don't know how long ago it was when that doctor called. Oh, thanks for putting it in the 2024 book. Yep. Definitions in the nervous section. Yep. Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do have notes all in one purchase, one download for the HitPix book. I do, and it's on my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. Yep. I hope to get, it's just such a big thing to have over 1,000 pages in one download, so it's really hard to do the entire books of notes and all in one. Oh, don't forget about those added modifiers. Those are usually on the exam. And I just write them here because we got a little cheat sheet up here in the front of the book with some modifiers, so that's helpful. But I am going to get off here and get ready for them to bring back my mom. So she ought to be back in about 15 minutes. I'm going to go pee and make sure I'm ready for her. I really thank you guys. Her brother sent her flowers. Aren't those pretty? But hopefully she will be up and walking today and can go home soon. I know she wants to come home so bad, but we've been here since Monday. So I know she's tired of being here. I won't be back tonight, I don't think. Unless it's quiets down in here and Mom's restful, I could go live right here just like I'm doing with you and she could snore. But I don't know. It's really hard because it gets loud in here and the nurses are in here every so often to do vitals. See, they're across the hall over there to doing vitals. And, you know, I don't make them nervous, but, oh, the lake across the street. This is, I know the windows are really dirty, but there is a lake out there. This is Lake Havasu. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm trying to focus on it, but we do have a pretty lake out the window view. But, yeah. That is Mom's fall pad they put beside the bed, so if she falls again, she doesn't fall on the floor and hit hard. But I'm going to go line her house with those. I'm trying to find a manufacturer that will make me a whole room full of those that I can just line her floors with that. So if she hits the floor again, it will take the impact of the fall, and so her bones don't. So, yeah, if anybody knows the manufacturer, I went and squirreled the tag and took pictures of it so I could get hold of the manufacturer. I'm like, okay, I need 500 square feet. You think I'm playing? I'm not playing. I will line the entire room. I'll put her in a padded room. Yeah. No more of this mess. Anesthesia might mess you up all the time. Oh, I love teaching anesthesia. I love it. And there's only 4 questions on the exam in anesthesia. So don't freak out too much about anesthesia. You got more questions in integumentary, musculoskeletal, cardiology, all the way through to medicine section. Those sections, all of those, each have 6 questions each. That's where the meat of your exam is. Even ICD-10 only has 5. So concentrate on your CPT codes in all those sections. Thank you for the prayers for Mom. I don't know when I'll be back, guys. I'm just, she's supposed to be up and walking today. Oh my God, they just put in a new hip today, 20 minutes ago. So they finished the surgery, which is insane to me. But we'll see. We'll see. Thank you much, guys. I'm sure she's going to do great. And I appreciate you guys, and I'm so sorry I'm not here doing my lives like normal, but I do miss you guys so much, and I'm proud of you all, and best of luck for anybody taking their exam, and I hope something here helped. I truly do. What's the first step, Miss Jessica? Is to buy this book and do a Google search and change it to shopping and find a bookstore that will send it to you for free shipping. Find it the cheapest way you can. Then you're going to go to my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. You're going to go to the resource tab. You're going to click on each one of these pictures and do each one of those things. And you're going to continue to watch my lives here on TikTok and on YouTube. I go live on YouTube 2 days a week and TikTok 2 days a week. And I do 2 hours, and I teach you how to attack the exam from the exam point of view. And just keep following along. But first step is to get this book and do all those steps. And you will hate me by the end. You're going to go through and underline all your code, all the alerts that tell you to use a code with another code in green. You're going to underline all your red do nots. You're going to highlight any code that has anything in a bracket. Some codes don't have a bracket. They don't have anything to highlight, but ones that do, you need to highlight it. You're going to go through, and if the code does not include anything, whatever it is, you're going to put a line through it and get rid of it, because there's no reason for that to be on that descriptor, because it does not include it, and I'll show you how to do that. You're going to write your one-word differences between these codes descriptors. That could be helpful, and you're going to group your codes together if they're parent and child together, which is super easy. And going to mark your codes. Okay, I think she's coming, guys. I got to go, okay? I'll talk to you guys later. I love y'all. See y'all later.